In episode 1, you learned what I built an underground betting network worth thousands of crores, 5 years operating in plain sight. In a country with state police, the CBI, the Enforcement Directorate, financial intelligence, and the courts. Every institution that should have noticed. One question still remains: how? The answer isn't simple. 75 FIRs were filed, but I kept processing 240 crores a day. Both things were true at the same time. That doesn't happen by accident. Let me show you how it does happen. During the 5 years I operated, the Chhattisgarh police registered 75 FIRs linked to my network. 75. Think about what that means. 75 different complaints. 75 different moments when someone walked into a police station, sat across from an officer, and said something illegal is happening. Every FIR was the beginning of an investigation, or at least it should have been. Instead, many of them became paperwork. Files, shelves, dust. Years passed. The files remained. And while they sat there, I kept processing 240 crores every single day. The ED believes it knows why those investigations barely moved. According to its supplementary charge sheet filed in January 2024, 508 crores was allegedly paid as kickbacks to Bhupesh Baghel, the then Chief Minister of Chhattisgarh. 508 crore rupees, not through banks, not through RTGS, not by check. According to investigators, it was moved as cash, hand to hand across cities, across borders through Hawala. Pause for a moment and picture that. Not the number, the logistics. Someone had to count it. Someone had to carry it. Someone had to receive it. Cash on that scale doesn't move by accident. Then, the investigators say they found something unusual. A voice message. According to the ED, it was sent by Shubham Soni, one of my senior operators, to a cash operator named Asim Das. The message read, "On your return to India, deliver 8 to 10 crores to Baghel." 8 to 10 crores on your return, as casually as reminding someone to buy groceries. Bhupesh Baghel has denied the allegations. He has described the case as politically motivated. The matter is before the courts. I have no opinion on guilt. That's not my role. But I do know this. 75 FIRs were registered. For 5 years, my network continued operating. Those two facts existed together. What connects them is for the investigation and ultimately the courts to determine. I told you we'd come back to Harishankar Tibrewal. Because if Saurabh Chandrakar built the machine, Tibrewal taught it how to disappear. Not by hiding it, by making it look legitimate. And that's a very different skill. Harishankar Tibrewal was born in Kolkata. Over the years, investigators allege he became one of the Dubai's largest Hawala operators, moving money across borders without moving it through banks. When my founders needed their Dubai earnings to return to India, looking perfectly clean, they turned to him. In March 2024, the ED publicly identified Tibrewal as a major Hawala operator linked to Mahadev promoters. According to the investigators, he used 17 shell companies across India and overseas to move nearly 1500 crores into the Indian stock market through foreign investment routes. The ED says it later identified and froze assets worth 580 crores of that network. By 2024, the raids had begun. Properties, documents, accounts, the walls were beginning to close in, or at least that's how it appeared. Then, Tibrewal made a decision. He gave up his Indian citizenship. According to the investigators, he used a Phuket-based agent and funds routed through a Mauritian entity to acquire citizenship of Vanuatu through its Citizenship by Investment program. Price around $130,000 US. Vanuatu, a small island nation in the South Pacific. Population around 330,000. No extradition treaty with India. A passport with visa-free access to more than 130 countries. Think about that. For roughly $130,000, less than investigators allege he helped move in a single day, he bought himself an entire new nationality. And then something almost surreal happened. While investigators described him as an absconding accused, his LinkedIn profile kept updating. Market commentary, investment advice, portfolio analysis, new posts, new followers, new engagement. According to publicly available information, both things were true at the same time. Then, he filed a defamation lawsuit against a publication that reported on him from Dubai while investigators were looking for him. Pause and think about what that implies. A lawyer, legal instructions, documents, communication, a functioning professional life. He wasn't behaving like someone who believed he was about to be arrested. He was behaving like someone who had calculated the risks and liked the answers. Whether that calculation was correct isn't for me to decide, but this much is true. Years later, he was still living openly, still publishing, still working. Sometimes what people do tells you more than what they say. In October 2023, the ED filed its first charge sheet. 14 accused, assets worth 41 crore attached. It was the first sign that the machine had finally come under scrutiny. But there was a problem. The people who built me weren't in India anymore. Both founders were living in Dubai by then. India wanted them back, but Dubai wasn't obliged to send them. Interpol red notices were issued. On paper, the hunt had begun. Then, something unexpected happened. In 2024, UAE authorities detained Saurabh Chandrakar. For a moment, it looked like the story might be ending. But he was released. No public explanation, no public challenge. He was detained and then he wasn't. Meanwhile, Ravi Uppal had moved again. By November 2025, the UAE authorities informed Indian agencies that he had left the country. Think about what that means. They knew he had departed, which means they knew where he was before he left. The engineer, the architect, the man who helped build me, he had relocated to Vanuatu, the same island nation you saw earlier. A different passport, a different jurisdiction, the same result. In November 2025, India's Supreme Court directed the ED to locate Ravi Uppal. The agency responded that efforts are underway. But as of today, he has not been brought back. Then a few months earlier, in March 2026, the ED attached assets worth 1700 crores in Dubai, including luxury apartments inside the Burj Khalifa complex. Think back to episode 1. Two men arrived in Dubai with little more than a laptop and an idea. The building they once looked up at, they eventually owned property in it. Today, those assets stand attached. That transformation alone tells you how successful this operation became. By this month, which is July 2026, the ED has filed 5 charge sheets, named 74 entities, arrested 13 people, attached or seized assets worth 3,800 crores. The CBI had filed 6 more charge sheets, naming 72 accused, 11 charge sheets, 2 investigating agencies, 3 years, thousands of pages, thousands of crores. Convictions, 0. I am not saying nobody tried. Investigators worked, raids happened, evidence was collected, properties were attached, charge sheets were filed. Many people spent years trying to untangle what I had become. But somewhere between investigation and justice, the machine slowed. Why is a question much larger than me. Because if this could happen once, it can happen again. As of today, July 2026, Saurabh Chandrakar arrived in Oman using a forged Indonesian passport. This time, the journey ended differently. The Royal Oman Police arrested him. Not for Mahadev, not for money laundering, not for betting, but for passport fraud, committed on Oman soil. India has requested his extradition, but international law rarely moves at the speed of public expectations. Under Omani law, a person accused of committing a crime inside Oman must first answer that case before another country can take custody. Which means, before India can prosecute Chandrakar, Oman must finish first. Today, Saurabh Chandrakar is being held inside Al Khawd Detention Center. He isn't free, but he isn't in an Indian courtroom either. The road from that prison to a conviction in India still has many legal steps left. There is something strange about international investigations. Sometimes, they don't stop because anyone interferes. They stop because procedure takes time. Every country has its own laws, its own courts, its own priorities. And until each step finishes, the next one can't begin. As for me, government blocked my website, my apps, my domains. 21 platforms were taken down. It didn't matter. New names appeared, new domains, new WhatsApp numbers, new panel operators. The structure survived because I was never just an app. I was a system. And systems don't just disappear when you delete an icon from a phone. Right now, somewhere in India, someone is opening a WhatsApp message. Someone else is placing a bet. Someone else is collecting cash. A panel operator is balancing today's accounts. Another Hawala transfer is being arranged. Different names, different websites, the same machine. Maybe under a different logo. Maybe under a different app. But the same design, the same idea, the same system. And somewhere very close to you, it's probably running on a phone screen. The investigation continues. No convictions have been secured in Mahadev app case. The network's operating model continues to appear under new names and platforms. If stories of crime, power, corruption, and the people who escape justice matter to you, subscribe to Dark Decoded. New deep dives every week.